So, yeah, the last time this song came out, that's the last time John Wall was relevant. Like, that's it. John Wall is a current basketball player for the Houston Rockets. If you have forgotten about him, he's been featured on the sidelines of random college women's basketball games and random Hawaii tournaments and some WNBA games. John Wall is currently not playing basketball. And he wants to play basketball, and that's going to be a problem for him. Why, might you ask? Why is it a problem that John Wall wants to play and he's not getting any minutes? Hasn't he been healthy? He is healthy now, isn't he? He's healthy. Yep, he is healthy for the first time in years. And people are saying, well, Trysta, like, the Rockets should play him some minutes. Like, the Rockets are not good. They have 2 wins, 3 wins this year. Bad team. They're going nowhere right now. He's a lot better than some of the other point guards they're rolling out. Why can't John Wall get some fucking minutes? Why can't John Wall get his respect? Well, let's break this down, folks. John Wall came to the Rockets in a trade for Russell Westbrook. He went from Washington to Houston. Russell Westbrook ended up going to D.C. Then, at one point, Wall signed a Supermax deal with the Wizards, then promptly was broken. I don't think he's played any meaningful minutes since that contract was signed, folks. Everyone on earth was like, this is the worst contract of all time. Like, he might not play a minute on this contract that matters at all. I mean, except for Tillman Furtado, who said CP3 was the worst contract, which turns out that was a lie. So Tommy Shepard rolled the dice, somehow found a way to move Wall for Russ, and then move Russ a year later for all these pieces, and now the Wizards are one of the most exciting teams in the league, right? And now the Rockets are in shambles. Harden gone. You've got Russ gone. And basically nothing. Like, Wall has played all of 32 games for the Rockets and has earned $44 million for a team that he's literally making more millions than per game that he plays. That's incredible. That he earned 44. No one should be getting paid $44 million if your team that you're on goes through a 20-game losing streak. But that happened. That happened last year. They went 19 games. I'm sorry, that's not completely accurate. It was 19 games, not 20. They were the worst team statistically in the league last year in a million different ways. And during the offseason, the Rockets drafted a lot of exciting players because they had some picks, right? They drafted Jalen Green. They drafted Usman Garuba. They drafted a bunch of other pieces. They got kid from Arizona State. So they're fun, right? And the Rockets front office and Steven Silas, the head coach, sat down with Wall and they said, listen, dude, you know you're not part of our long-term plans. And we know you're not part of our long-term plans. We're a rebuilding team. Let's just be honest. It's going to be some highs, going to be some lows. We really don't need you in here fucking up the vibe. You know what I mean? So if you're down to play like 10, 15 minutes off the bench, you can stay. If not, we're going to ask that you kindly stay away from the team. This is a crazy story. Kindly stay away from the team while we pursue trade opportunities so that you can go somewhere else and get overpaid for them and not for us. And John's like, yeah, I'm going to just go ahead and wait for that trade. I'll stay away. I'm a starter. Fuck Jalen Green. Fuck KPJ. I'm the bucket. KPJ's a nice piece, but listen, he was a waiver wire guy. Like, he got cut from the Cleveland Cavaliers. I'm a much better player than Kevin Porter Jr. He's a bucket. Like, I am the bucket. And Steven Silas was like, okay. So, we're not going to see you around then. Don't come around the franchise. Like, we don't want to see you. Stay away. You are now that guy who's an elder statesman, overpaid, who can fuck up the chemistry of our entire team if you're bringing the vibes down. Positive vibes only on the Houston Rockets. I went through a bad stretch last year as Steven Silas. You got to go. You got to stay away so that I can rebuild here. Yeah. So that shit was working for about 15 games. And I mean, not exactly working because they're 3-16, but they're fun. They're growing. Alperin Şengün, Jalen Green, everyone's ahead of schedule. They are a fun team if you like fun basketball with no winning involved. If you're like if you're not a results oriented basketball fan, like you love the Rockets. Like they are fucking fun. They played an incredible game against the Charlotte Hornets this weekend. I think it was 145-141. That's the end score. Like fucking buckets everywhere. No defense. Tremendous. Like that's what you want to see if you're not results oriented. Like just buckets on buckets on buckets. So it seemed to be going okay until John Wall was like, I'm going to go and go to the GM's office. And Rafael Stone, he sat down. He's like, hey, I want to start. And he's like, when can I play? I'm trying to play. Sitting home, this fucking sucks. And why now, you might ask? Because the internet is things are starting to bubble up. Where is John Wall? Why is John Wall not with the team? Why is John Wall at this random New York Liberty game? Like, what is going on? John Wall's nowhere to be found, but everywhere to be found, if you know what I mean. Like, he's everywhere he's not supposed to be. Like, what is happening with John? Why won't the Rockets play him? What's going on? And then John's like, well, I want to know why I'm not playing. And they're like, well, John, we talked about this pre-season. If you want to play 10, 15 minutes, be the Al Horford of the team, like, be mentor to the young guys, like, then you can. But if not, you got to go. We've already had this conversation. Know exactly what's happening, what is going on with your brain. We've got something going on here, and we don't need you to come be the fly in the ointment. And John's like, fuck them kids. If I'm ever going to play in this league again, because I don't want to be a Hassan Whiteside. I don't want to get paid $1 million when this contract is up. I need to show my value now, or I'm going to end up being the 6th guard on the Sacramento Kings, getting paid $750,000 a year. Like, no. I don't like that. And we know, poor Steven Silas, poor Rafael Stone, not poor John Wall, because we know John Wall's not going to be a mentor. We know he's not a team player. Teach me how to Dougie? No, he is not that guy. Like, I've heard whispers. I'm not going to say what those whispers are. The rumors, though, are that when the going gets tough, John Wall, the teammate, is nowhere to be found when things get rowdy, if you know what I'm saying. If you know, you know. The rumors are John Wall, not a team player. He'll leave you out to dry, if you know what I'm saying. So, yeah, no. And it's dire. He will leave you wherever, you know what I'm saying? So, Wall is no Horford. I mean, Horford was a great team guy. He stayed away from the team. He got back to Boston. Everything's good. And John Wall is not going to be that guy. And the truth is now, John Wall's not going to be traded because nobody on earth wants that contract. No one. He's making $44 million this year, $47 million next year. He's got a player option, and you know he's going to take that player option because it's probably the last check he'll ever get in this league. So, and Tillman Fertitta has already came on record and said, well, I'm not going to buy him out. He's not going to the Clippers for free. Not doing that. We're not going to have that little game. I'm not fucking, I'm not James Dolan. I'm not Dan Gilbert. I'm not any of these guys. This is not happening. He's staying on the squad. I'll pay him, and he stays. So there's a reasonable chance, all that to say, this is not an AD situation where the league's going to step in. This is not a situation like Cleveland where the owners are going to buy him out. There is now there's a reasonable chance that John Wall doesn't play basketball until his contract is up at the end of 2022. And so you might say, Trysta, this is very unfair. Like, I feel for John Wall. Well, fucking cry me a river. He's making $90-something million a year to do nothing, to go and sit on the bench on the sidelines of some cool lit game, like wherever he wants to do. They're like telling him you don't even have to practice. You don't even have to be with the team. Yo, pay me. I'll better myself. I'll go to some yoga retreats. Like, I'll go to that Hoffman Institute up in San Francisco, do some, like, inner child work. You know what I mean? Like, that's time. I think John Wall probably does need to do some inner child work. So, yeah, what do you expect? Like, he's a fucking thug. Like, we know that about John Wall. Like, in the greatest sense of the word, like, he's just not that guy. So the Rockets going to play hardball. And John Wall's last resort is just this. Just tweet free me. Free me, hashtag free me. That's what he did today. Hashtag free me. Get the fuck out of here, John Wall. Cry me a fucking river. Boo fucking who.